You asked, how can I get the best solar deal?
We all like a good bargain, but not everyone knows how to get one when it comes to solar. So the process of finding a great deal on your home solar is actually quite simple if you follow 3 key pieces of advice. So before you speak to your local solar installer, here are the 3 pieces of advice that take me 20 years to learn. Number 1, only go with reliable brands. Now that solar has been operating in volume in Australia and New Zealand for at least 15 years, we can actually judge the brands that have stood the test of time. So when it comes to panels, the cheap stuff always says Tier 1 labels. And that is already a giveaway. As soon as the brand goes, oh, we're Tier 1, ignore them, because that's how the cheap stuff tries to look good.
It's a trick.
So Tier 1 label, ignore. If a company pushes that hard, move on, go to a different company. Because they really should be promoting key brands like Qcell, RSC, SunPower, Jinko, Trina. Those are really brands that have been in Australia for a decade, that have stood the test of time, that have a warranty department. So make sure that it is an established brand when it comes to the panels. And in the inverter space, there's Fronius, there's SMA, there's SolarEdge, there is Enphase. In the Chinese space, there is SunGrow, which also is starting to build up a good reputation. Number 2, go local. The solar industry works on very tight margins, and many large solar installation companies argue that they buy cheaper as they buy in volume, large numbers, and then they pass the savings on. And that sounds kind of logical. But I avoid the large solar companies. Buying in bigger volume means higher storage costs, higher cash flow costs, bigger staff overheads. It doesn't necessarily mean you get necessarily a better bargain. We at YourEnergy really recommend long established local companies that are maybe located less than 80 k's from you, so that when down the track you have service calls, you want to expand, those companies will actually be around and be willing to come out and see you because they're local, they're in the area, they've done the job for you in the first place. If you pick a faraway energy retail company or a national company with a HQ far away, it is often a challenge to get them to come back for prompt service because they don't have an office in every place they work, and so then they have to find a subcontractor which is willing to come out to see you. And that has to be a good electrician, and sometimes that takes quite a while. And in all the time you're sitting there without the solar.
I ain't gonna fix it. Why bother?
So, local company over big company is my advice. Number 3, get multiple quotes for the same equipment. So if you work out, I want this type of inverter, I think that panel is okay, then ask all the various companies to supply you a quote for that type of gear. That way you compare apples with apples.
Make the right choice.
But also don't just go by price, because sometimes the slightly more expensive company does break less tiles, has better qualified staff, and so ask the key question to them direct. Why should I use your company? And make note of the argument that they're bringing along, and then see which one feels right in the gut. Who's speaking honestly, who has the experience, who's been recommended by friends. So the 3 key tips. Number 1, go with a brand that you've heard of or that has been established in Australia for quite a while. Forget about Tier 1. Number 2, go with a local company that is within 80 k's or so from you so that they can come back for service work. And number 3, get quotes for the same gear, but don't just judge the gear, judge the reputation and the installation quality as well when you're comparing apples with apples. Those are the 3 tips that you should be aware of before you engage a solar company.
Want more energy answered? Visit yourenergyanswers.com for quality energy products, tools and calculators, and find your quality local installers. Please support the channel by liking the video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, and check out all our other videos. You're still here? I'll see you next time. Bye.